Wish you a very, very good afternoon. We hope to start in the morning. And I've been given the task of reflecting on some of the Deepavali messages that a big giant in the Hindu community, Guru Deepavali, has just delivered to you. Now they say all knowledge comes from an inner intention. And when we look at this little altar that has been created on the stage, we see on the side of mine a beautiful representation of a deity called Sandf. On the other side, we see a murti of Nataraja and a murti of Lord Ganesha. When Deepavali started his program, he had a few deities that he depicted on them. And this is one of the most confusing parts of Hinduism, in that Hindus worship a multitude of various aspects of the one divine personality. It is very much like a diamond. When you take a raw diamond looks terrible. Most people will even just kick it on the floor, not realizing its beauty. But it's only when a diamond is been cut into its various facets that you find the glittering beauty of the diamond. Similarly, Hinduism looks at the ultimate reality, the source of creation, as one, but sees the source of creation as a creator, as a preserver, as a constructive destroyer, as a dispenser of knowledge, remover of obstacles, bestowing of all the wonderful gratitude or gracious things that we have, and for each symbolic manifestation of this ultimate reality, a particular symbolic form is given. So beautifully on this day, they presented as you come in the goddess Saraswati. Saraswati means that which is forever flowing, and she represents knowledge. And again, what is this ignorance that we talk about? What is this fight against this darkness or ignorance that we have? How does this light destroy this ignorance that we have? It is our false identification with the materialistic nature that we have that makes us or takes us away from identifying with our true divine spiritual nature. Reverend Billy mentioned that the rabbi said, only when you can see your brothers and sisters and see them as brothers and sisters do you have the light. Or do you see the light? So it is when we can see the divine image in which we've been created in each one of us, are we then able to transcend this material understanding that I am made up of body, of five senses, a mind, an intellect, an ego, and so on. So it is when we can get beyond that, which is what Deepavali truly represents. Deepavali comes from two words, Deepa and Ali. Like Diva, it's another term from Divo and Ali. Divo or Deepa means a light. But a light when lit, one single one of them, sheds light in 360 degrees. But when a row of lights is lit, it represents not only illumination, but direction. It tells you exactly where to go. More so, one single lamp can light 1,000,000 of other lamps, and it never reduces its light that it sheds. So, like Deepavali concluded his talk with the idea that we live in a diverse South Africa. And diversity is something we should embrace because nature reflects itself in diversity. If you were a keen gardener, you would see that you have a garden only of plants that are green nature. There is diversity just in the color of every leaf that you have, let alone the different colors of flowers that you can have. Diversity is one of the nature of reality. So when we are able to think of our reality in different forms, embrace the teachings that love your neighbor, the teachings of Islam that teach us that God is promised. No one of us has ever seen God. And embracing all that, Embracing the understanding of Hindu thought that when I say Namaste, I greet the divine nature inside each one of you. Then we will start becoming truly alive and start learning to live and celebrate not only Deepavali. Deepavali is only one such celebration. In the Hindu way of life, every month, every week, we have an opportunity to celebrate life. Celebrating for a particular mythological reason allows us to hang our ideas of change. So beautifully said by General that the inner transformation is what destroys your ignorance. Unfortunately, every one of us finds our ignorance the most difficult thing to come into contact with. Therefore, in Hindu thought, we have one concept of her called Durga. Durga means the inaccessible one. She is the one that destroys all the evil from within each one of us. So like that, Deepavali said there are so many things about Deepavali. But if we have to take one message away from his beautiful talk, it is to understand that our real nature is that of love. Our divine nature is that of love. We have, from all the kingdoms that the Almighty God has created, there's an element kingdom. The concept of sodium, potassium, nitrogen, all these wonderful things are elemental kingdom. There is a plant kingdom. A plant kingdom that sees us use life, even in that kingdom, without light, without photosynthesis, there is no existence that can happen. Then we have this animal kingdom, and then the human kingdom. So we say in Hindu thought that we have a consciousness, where a life-giving force that sleeps in stone, sleeps in the animals, begins to move in plants, starts to fear in animals, but finally starts to love the human being. So when we want to embrace our human nature, when we want to embrace the nature of celebration, then we have to embrace the nature of love. To be able to celebrate that which brings us love to the world. Now, Hinduism is the third most popular religion in the world. First Christianity, then Islam, and again the word Hindu is not a term that Hindus gave themselves. Hindu is called by the Persians that invaded India, that called all those people who were living on the southern side of the Indus River as Hindus. And therefore their set of religious beliefs came to be known as Hinduism. However, the real term for the Hindu religion is called Sanatana Dharma, which means that religion which is based on a set of eternal principles. We don't have a personality in Hinduism that is responsible for what we follow. Hinduism is a very different religion in that we don't want to believe, we want to change behavior. Our understanding is that when a human being, an individual, changes his behavior, he changes his outcome. A set of beliefs lies in one's head. It never changes how you behave. There's a potential, an opportunity to make you change. But belief on its own that rests within one's mind never makes you change. It is the concept that my behavior changes my outcome. And the word given for that is karma. Christ said in a beautiful way, what you sow shall you reap. Karma is nothing but that understanding that when I radiate good in the world, good comes back. And when I radiate evil into the world, evil comes back. So the term dharma that makes us believe in a set of principles, basically to leave you with a wonderful interfaith gathering today, maybe a little about some of the eternal principles that Hindus believe. First of all, we believe in there is only one supreme reality. We just think logically, we only have one world, we have one air, we have one water. So how can we have different gods? It cannot be, isn't it? We have one source of creation. We might call that source of creation by different names, but like Shakespeare said, if you call a rose by another name, it never changes the nature of the rose. So similarly, that eternal reality, that eternal principle, that source of consciousness, energy, that is responsible for everything that exists in the universe, We call him by different names. And this is uttered in the first stanza of our religious book called the Vedas. It says, Ekam Sat Vipra Prabhuta Vadami. That the truth is only one. Wise people call it by different names. So the truth around our eternity is looked at differently by wise people. Then we believe in the cyclical nature of things. That there is no linear progression of time. Time is a circular thing. That again, there is no life and afterlife. There's only life and life and life and life. There's an eternity. The world was never created. It always existed. There was never a time, because whenever we see something is created, there must have been something before and something that's after. That which is eternal, there's no beginning and no end, and we believe in that. That encompasses the principles of righteous living or dharma, the concept of rewarding oneself or punishing oneself through the law of karma. That again, it is Newton's law. Every action is an equal and opposite reaction. And it is in personal. It is not a law where God gets himself involved in punishing or rewarding himself. Your own actions do that. And therefore, your actions, you are the architect of your own future. You are a product of all the choices you have made, and so on. So we believe in the concept that we all, every person, everyone will eventually reach at moksha. Moksha is one, or salvation, emancipation, liberation. We all, irrespective of whether you're a saint or a sinner, the path or the end for everybody is the same. And it's very much like the game snakes and ladders. In fact, it originated in India. It was called moksha path, the pathway to moksha, snakes and ladders. It was taken away by the British and given a different name when the British ruled India over 300 years. It was called moksha path. The snakes represented those actions that bring you down. The ladders were all the actions that elevated you. And we all have this born into the game at zero, and we have to make our pathway to number 100. And on this way, the dice being good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people. The concept of the dice, concept of reality, of the represent in Hinduism is beautiful. One of them says, life is unfair. Anybody experience it? Life doesn't give you what you deserve. Life is not a buffet. Karma is not something you go to and you choose what you want. Karma is what you get served, what you deserve. So those are some of the basic principles. We don't have a church. We don't have an order that decides what Hindus are going to be. From time immemorial, we believe in the principles that your actions create the future that you hold. So there's so much more that one could say at this time. But let Deepavali bring the light that nobody, you are forgiven for thinking that the road in your room is a snake when the lights are off. But as soon as the light is put on, you see the road and you should act accordingly. However, today, with the lights turned on, people still believe that the road is the snake in their lives. And that is the ignorance that we're talking about. That is what we want to destroy through the celebration of Deepavali. Knowing what is real from that which is unreal. If we can get ourselves to understand that what is truly real is what is eternal, never changing, all the same, all times, all places. What is unreal is changing according to circumstances and so on. When we can embrace that which is real, our ignorance will fly away. So I'm going to sing a song in dedication of Lord Rama, which sort of, Rama means, and I heard that our Deputy Chief Major General of the Army is called Rama Song. Even his name starts with Rama. So I'm going to sing sort of like a song dedicated to Lord Rama. And Rama means that which brings joy and happiness. One who brings that through righteous action. And one who lived the life for the benefit of society. In one of his life, he had a choice whether he should banish his wife to the Parasita or listen to the subjects in his
The Hindu philosophy of life is that which he mentioned earlier as well. There is no concept really of an end of life. There is only life and life and life. It is a cyclical nature of time and energy. This is something that looks like it's a little bit confusing for you to understand. But this is something that is the true nature of this universe. As he mentioned earlier, the law of karma is reflected in a scientific law. Newton's law of motion. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. This law of life, and only life, is reflected in Einstein's law of thermodynamics. Energy can only be transformed, neither created nor destroyed. So anyone with some kind of academic background, you should surely recognize that, as opposed to what I'm telling Hindu philosophy. This is a scientific law of the universe. So, understanding this, Hindus know that there is life or there is energy. Before this physical body came into existence, there will be this life after this death or transformation of this physical body. Understanding this, they have developed a concept of 16 rituals or samskaras, which are rituals or ceremonies that are performed at various stages of life to remind us of this. That is one reason they are there. So to teach us this concept of life before the body and life after this body. Because the first samskara means that which makes a deep impression upon this energy of mind. Something that will guide, that will give direction to how this energy reflects itself or takes form after this is performed. The first one that is performed in the life of a Hindu is before a child is even conceived. When a couple wishes to conceive a child, and they have this in their mind, they perform the first samskara, which is called Garbhadan. It is offering a womb in charity. That's what it literally means. It says, allow this energy to enter the womb of a mother. Understanding that this energy existed. There is no body yet, but this life is still there. Then during the months of pregnancy, there are a few that are performed at 3, 7 months, and then at the time of birth. These following samskaras are performed at various stages of a child's life. There are many in the life of a Hindu child at a very young age, in the infancy stage, like offering them the first solid food, taking them out in the sunlight for the first time, taking off or removing their first hair, piercing their ears, when they start school or start some kind of education for the first time. All of these are done in the early ages of life. The idea is to make this divine impression on a child's life, on that energy that exists within this body. So that the next phase of life, I mentioned they are all firsts. When we first start school, when we first pierce our ears, you can see mine are pierced twice, so the second time I didn't have to do anything. We pierce the ears to develop or remind the quality of knowledge is gained through listening. I'm speaking a lot today, but in general you will learn more by listening than by speaking. So these rituals are done to create an impression of divinity, of positivity, of love and blessing, because all these rituals will be attended by the family, the friends, and most importantly, elderly members, senior people of your community, your family, your society, to convey teachings, to convey lessons, to convey blessings upon this life and the journey that it will lead from this point forward. Later in our life, the most popular of these samskaras are the Vivaha samskara, which is the marriage or the wedding ceremony that is performed. Another life-altering or life-changing step that is taken by two people. The last of these 16 samskaras are performed towards the latter stages of life, when you start to disengage from this material world and the activities you perform in. And finally, the last two are performed after the death of this physical body. One is your funeral ceremony, and the other one is conducted 13 to 16 days after you have this physical body no longer exists. It serves two purposes. One is it has some connection with that energy that existed in this physical body, that life which gave life to this body. This body is not our life, as we said, it existed before the body and exists after. It is connected to that life, but more importantly, it is for all of us here who are left behind after that person has passed on. It is a great form of solace, of comfort, to know that one that you love, that you cared about, that was your family member, your friend, someone in your community, that they cannot cease to exist anymore. maybe you cannot interact with this physical form you are used to, but that person, that life goes on to a new journey in their existence. So these are the 16 samskaras that are performed throughout our lives to keep on reminding us of the divinity of our nature. And understanding that for some time, this life will have the form of this physical body, like you and I, as we have been with each other today. Hindu saints, great scholars have understood this process of life and have given us the kind of guidance that we need to conduct ourselves through this life. Because, as everyone who spoke before me said, Deepavali is all about light and darkness. It is about destroying the darkness of ignorance with the light of knowledge, so that we become better, so that we become more loving, kind, humble, beautiful human beings. We don't need to be good Hindus or Christians or Muslims in order to be wonderful people. We can do all of that, follow the religious path of our choice. These same principles are echoed in each and every religious path. No religion tells you to harm another. No religion tells you to be unkind. So these are the principles that we wish to develop in each and every one of us. So Hindus have split or divided a Hindu's life into 4 stages to give us the kind of guidance that we need to live a meaningful, purposeful, and positive life. The first stage of life, and they are not really connected to age, they are connected to a certain kind of thinking, a certain kind of behavior. The first stage of life given to us is called Brahmacharya. There is no real way to translate these Sanskrit words properly into English, but Brahmacharya, Brahman means that supreme knowledge, and the second part of the word means one who is in search of. So the first part of our lives, first quarter of our lives, we should be in pursuit of knowledge. Don't be mistaken, knowledge is not only education. You will see the most educated people who are unkind, who perform acts of cruelty, who do a great disservice to humanity. It is not only education, there is knowledge. Knowledge is that which allows us to differentiate right from wrong, to be able to moreover choose that which is right over that which is wrong. Sometimes, as they say, we can know what is right, but we still won't choose it, because it is more often than not the more difficult option. It is easier. The easier way is usually the not so correct way to be doing something. So the first quarter of our lives we spend in pursuit of this kind of knowledge that will give us the foundation for the rest of our lives. The second part is called Grahastha. That is a householder phase of our lives. So understand this, Hindu thought is ancient but forever new. It doesn't say it is the time you are married. It says the time you are a householder. In modern times, not every person is in a marriage. Not every person has children, but every person in this stage of their lives has a responsibility. They have people to take care of. They have a duty to fulfill in their society. They have a job to do. They have neighbors to support. They have this understanding of taking care. A householder stage. Grahastha is often marked by the first samskara or the samskara of marriage, but it is not defined to that. This Hindu understanding is one which is as applicable now as it was thousands of years ago. Each and every one of us go through this phase of our life where we have gained the knowledge, we have gained education, and we are able to become a meaningful part of our society. This is the most important part of Grahastha. If you take care of your children, if you take care of your immediate family, that is your responsibility, it is your duty. But in Grahastha, you should become a meaningful part of your community, of your society, of your work. By that, it is a global effect. If we start by being someone who contributes to my immediate community. I will contribute to my society, to my province, to my country, and to the world in that way. This is what we should be doing in this next phase of our lives. The third phase is called Vana Prasna. This is a phase of life where you would have now worked, you would have acquired some wealth, you might have acquired some property, all the time acquiring new knowledge, interact with people, and you start to realize that lasting happiness cannot be found in any one of these things. We can acquire all the money in the world, we can have as many friends in the world, but we will not have everlasting happiness. All of these things are up and down, is it not? You have the best friend, and you will have an argument, and then you're not so happy for 2 to 3 weeks until you feel okay. These are up and down things. What we all seek, in whatever different path we have chosen, is that ultimate unending happiness. In the stage of happiness, we start to realize that, and we start turning from outwards to inwards. To start to understand what is it in me that will bring me this kind of joy, this kind of peace that cannot be disturbed by the outside world. That whatever goes on around me doesn't affect what's inside of me. And this is the change of thinking that starts to happen. As we start to slowly remove ourselves, it's like moving towards retirement. We slowly start removing ourselves from some worldly duties. The people we need to take care of would have found some of their own responsibility, they would have found their own place in the world by then. It is just like that. Those who are older, who are wiser, who are senior, will allow this new generation of people to enter their grandsta phase of life as you offer your guidance, your knowledge, your teaching, and you slowly start to move on in your journey. And the last phase of life, called sannyasa, is that we let go of that as well. We let go of that worldly duties that we still had, that little bit remaining, and turn ourselves completely towards this path of spirituality. Now, that doesn't mean you go and sit and meditate for hours on it, and you only sit and chant and pray. This is not what this means. This means that you become that person who is a complete source of service to everything, everyone around you. You no longer seek to serve yourself. You no longer seek to do your duties or responsibilities. You only try to be the most humble, the most kind, the most helpful and loving human being that you can. Because in this phase of life, it is only the opportunity to give that should be in our minds. Because that is what will allow us to have lived a purposeful, fruitful, meaningful life. That once I have enjoyed all the pleasures of the world, all the money, all the holidays, all the wonderful relationships, you don't have to give those things up. You continue to have them with the full understanding that this is of this world and I am of something greater than that. This is the kind of knowledge, kind of guidance that our great Hindu scholars have given us, to enable each and every one of us to live a life that is meaningful, purposeful, and a benefit to each and every person around us. I hope that you will keep this in mind in the spirit of Deepavali as this light of knowledge of all this that has been shared with you today. That it may burn brighter and brighter as you leave this place. May you carry some of that light